Did you know that mastering your emotions could be the key to unlocking true freedom in your life? If you want to live with peace of mind, embrace simplicity, and find deeper understanding in your relationships, you need to start with one thing: taking control of your inner state. The best advice I've ever heard about facing fear isn't about trying to overcome it, but rather accepting the worst that could happen. This shift in mindset can transform how you deal with setbacks and failures, turning them into stepping stones for success. Avoid this mistake if you want lasting growth, thinking that you always have to be right or know everything. Cultivating humility isn't just freeing. It's one of the greatest strengths you can develop, allowing you to embrace life with curiosity and openness. In this video, we'll explore 6 powerful steps to help you master your emotions, embrace simplicity, and turn challenges into opportunities for growth. Ready to dive in? Let's get started. Number 1. Master your emotions. Take control of your inner state. Imagine a day where everything seems to flow seamlessly. The morning sun warms your face as you sip your coffee, feeling a gentle sense of contentment. Life feels good, uncomplicated even. But then something small, a snarky comment, a missed opportunity, or an unexpected bill, throws you off balance. That peaceful feeling evaporates, replaced by frustration or anxiety. Sound familiar? We've all been there. Emotional highs and lows are a natural part of being human. But what if, instead of letting the external world dictate how you feel, you learn to master your emotions? What if you could maintain that calm sense of peace even when life throws its inevitable curveballs? This is where the journey of emotional mastery begins. It's about taking control of your inner state so that you aren't at the mercy of every twist and turn life presents. The core content here is simple yet profound. Emotions, while natural and important, don't have to govern us. With practice, you can learn to observe them, manage them, and choose how to respond. This skill is at the heart of Stoicism, the philosophy that teaches us to focus on what we can control: our thoughts, actions, and yes, our emotions. When we master our emotions, we aren't suppressing them. Instead, we're creating space to respond intentionally rather than react impulsively. Think back to a time in your life when you let your emotions get the best of you. Maybe it was an argument with a loved one that spiraled out of control, or a moment of panic that led to a hasty decision. How might things have been different if you could have paused, taken a deep breath, and chosen your response? There's a certain nostalgia in these moments, times when we wish we could go back and handle things differently. But while we can't change the past, we can learn from it. These experiences can serve as powerful reminders of why emotional mastery is so valuable. Now think about the future. What would your life look like if you could navigate challenges with a steady hand, unshaken by the ups and downs of daily life? Curiosity arises when we ask ourselves, how can I get there? How can I transform my relationship with my emotions? The answer lies in mindfulness, self-awareness, and a commitment to growth. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. And every step you take toward mastering your emotions brings you closer to a life of inner peace and resilience. Number 2, embrace simplicity, the path to true wealth and freedom. Picture yourself waking up in a cozy, uncluttered space where everything you own has a purpose. The air feels lighter, your mind clearer. There's a sense of freedom in knowing that you have enough clothes, enough gadgets, enough to live comfortably without excess. This is the essence of simplicity. For many of us, happiness is often equated with acquiring more. More stuff, more achievements, more success. But what if true wealth and freedom come not from accumulation, but from letting go? Imagine finding joy not in what you have, but in what you choose to live without. At its core, Embracing simplicity is about removing distractions and focusing on what truly matters. We live in a world that constantly bombards us with messages to want more, buy more, be more. But Stoicism, along with many other philosophies, teaches us that real contentment doesn't come from external possessions or achievements. It comes from within. When we simplify our lives, we strip away the noise and clutter that prevent us from seeing what's truly important: our relationships, our passions, our health, and our peace of mind. Simplicity is about aligning our lives with these core values and finding contentment in the essentials. Nostalgia might take us back to a time when life felt simpler. Think about childhood, when happiness was found in the smallest things: a walk outside, a favorite toy, or a meal shared with family. There's something powerful about those memories. They remind us that joy isn't tied to material wealth. It's about being present, being connected, and appreciating the simple things in life. As adults, it's easy to get caught up in the hustle, chasing after things that we believe will bring us happiness. But often, when we look back, we realize that the times we felt most fulfilled were when life was less complicated. Curiosity now beckons. How can you bring more simplicity into your life today? What steps can you take to declutter not just your physical space, but your mental and emotional space as well? Simplifying doesn't mean sacrificing. It means making room for what truly brings you joy and fulfillment. It's about discovering a new kind of wealth, one that isn't measured by what you have, but by the richness of your experiences, your relationships, and your peace of mind. Number 3, listen twice as much. The power of silence and understanding. Think of the last time you had a meaningful conversation, one where you felt truly heard. It's a rare and wonderful feeling, isn't it? There's a certain happiness that comes from being understood, from knowing that the person across from you is fully present and attentive. Now consider the times when you were the listener. There's a quiet joy in giving someone your undivided attention, in allowing their words to unfold without interruption or judgment. Listening is a gift, both to ourselves and others, and it's one we often overlook in the rush of everyday life. Listening is more than just hearing words. It's about understanding the person behind them. In a world filled with noise, where everyone is eager to share their opinions, truly listening has become a lost art. Yet, it's through listening that we forge deeper connections, solve conflicts, and grow as individuals. The Stoics believed in the power of silence, of observing more and speaking less. By listening twice as much as we speak, we open ourselves up to new perspectives, insights, and understanding. It's in the quiet moments that we learn the most about others and about ourselves. Reflect on times in your life when you wished someone had really listened to you. Maybe it was during a tough period, a moment of uncertainty, or a time of excitement when you just wanted to share your joy. The absence of a listening ear in those moments likely left you feeling frustrated or unseen. These memories are bittersweet. They remind us of the importance of being heard, but also of the times we may have failed to listen deeply to others. Listening is not just an act of kindness, but a bridge to understanding and empathy. Curiosity asks us to explore how we can become better listeners. How can we cultivate silence in a noisy world? How can we learn to pause before responding, to fully absorb what's being said? What would happen if we approached conversations with the intent to understand, rather than to reply? By mastering the art of listening, we not only improve our relationships but also deepen our own wisdom. There's power in silence, a power that leads to greater understanding, connection, and personal growth. Number 4, face your fears, how accepting the worst leads to inner peace. Think of a moment when you faced something that scared you, a situation that made your heart race, palms sweat, and mind swirl with what-ifs. Maybe it was a difficult conversation you were dreading, or a decision that felt like it would change the course of your life. At that moment, The fear was real, consuming. But now, looking back, do you see how much stronger you became because you faced it? There's a certain happiness that comes with overcoming fears, a sense of pride in realizing that you're braver than you gave yourself credit for. The truth is, fear is a natural part of life. It's an emotion meant to protect us, but when it goes unchecked, it can hold us back. Stoicism teaches us that by accepting the worst that could happen, we can free ourselves from the grip of fear. The core of this practice is rooted in what the Stoics called premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. By imagining the worst-case scenario, we strip fear of its power. Instead of being paralyzed by the unknown, we prepare ourselves mentally and emotionally, knowing that whatever comes, we can handle it. Think back to a time in your life when you avoided something out of fear, only to later realize that the fear was far greater than the reality. Perhaps it was an opportunity you passed up, or a relationship you let slip away. There's a kind of nostalgia in these moments, a bittersweet reflection on how our lives might have been different if only we had faced our fears. But while we can't change the past, we can choose to face the future with courage. Those memories serve as a reminder that most of the time the things we fear are not as insurmountable as they seem. Curiosity now stirs within us. What would your life look like if you faced your fears head-on? What possibilities might open up if you embraced the worst that could happen and, instead of running from it, accepted it with grace? Facing your fears doesn't mean you won't feel afraid. It means you'll move forward anyway, knowing that peace lies not in avoiding challenges, but in accepting them. Each time you do, you build inner strength and resilience, transforming fear into a stepping stone toward inner peace. Number 5, transform failure. Use setbacks as stepping stones to success. Remember the first time you experienced failure? Maybe it was a failed exam, a job you didn't get, or a project that didn't turn out the way you hoped. In the moment, it likely felt like the end of the world. Failure has a way of making us question our abilities, our worth, and our future. But as time passed, didn't those moments of failure shape who you are today? Maybe they even led you to greater success, or taught you a valuable lesson that you still carry with you. There's a unique happiness that comes from looking back and realizing that failure wasn't the end. It was just a beginning. At its core, failure is not a sign of weakness, but a natural part of growth. Every successful person, from great thinkers to entrepreneurs, has experienced failure at some point. The difference lies in how they responded to it. Stoicism teaches us that setbacks are opportunities for growth. When we fail, we're given a chance to reflect, adapt, and try again. Instead of viewing failure as a stopping point, we can see it as a stepping stone on the path to success. The key is to shift our mindset from one of fear to one of curiosity. What can I learn from this? How can this make me better? Looking back, there's likely a sense of nostalgia tied to some of your failures. These moments may have stung at the time, but they often become the stories we tell later with a smile or a knowing nod. They remind us of how far we've come, how much we've grown. Maybe it was that relationship that didn't work out, but in the process, you learned more about what you want and need. Or perhaps it was a career setback that pushed you in a direction you wouldn't have considered otherwise. Failure, in hindsight, often reveals itself as a disguised blessing. So now, curiosity beckons. What would happen if, instead of fearing failure, you embraced it as a necessary part of success? What if you stopped seeing setbacks as obstacles and started seeing them as the universe's way of redirecting you to something better? Imagine the freedom that would come with knowing that every failure is simply a lesson in disguise, an opportunity to grow stronger, smarter, and more resilient. By transforming failure into a stepping stone, you open yourself up to limitless possibilities. Number 6, cultivate humility, the freedom of admitting you don't know everything. Think about a time when you were around someone who exuded quiet confidence, the kind that didn't need to boast or prove anything. There's a certain happiness in being around someone who is genuinely humble, who listens more than they speak, and who admits when they don't have all the answers. This kind of humility is refreshing in a world where it often feels like everyone is trying to outshine one another. But what's even more liberating is experiencing that humility for yourself, knowing that you don't have to know everything, that it's okay to ask for help, to be curious, and to embrace your own limitations. At the core of humility is the realization that no one has all the answers. In fact, admitting that you don't know something is a sign of strength, not weakness. The Stoics believed that wisdom begins with the acknowledgement of one's own ignorance. Socrates, one of the greatest philosophers, famously said, "I know that I know nothing." This mindset opens us up to learning and growth, allowing us to see the world with fresh eyes. Humility frees us from the burden of perfection and allows us to approach life with curiosity and wonder. Looking back on your life, there are likely moments when you thought you had everything figured out, only to later realize how little you actually knew. These memories can be both humbling and comforting. Humbling because they remind us of our own limitations, but comforting because they show us that it's okay not to have all the answers. There's a certain nostalgia in those times when we were young and thought we had it all under control, only to be met with life's inevitable surprises. But those moments also taught us valuable lessons and helped us grow. Curiosity now leads us to ask, how can cultivating humility change the way we approach life? What would happen if we let go of the need to always be right or to have all the answers? Imagine the freedom that comes with admitting that you don't know everything, that there is always more to learn. Humility opens the door to new perspectives, deeper connections, and greater personal growth. By embracing humility, we not only free ourselves from the pressure of perfection, but also become more open to the wisdom the world has to offer. As we wrap up, remember that mastering your emotions, embracing simplicity, and transforming setbacks into opportunities for growth aren't just skills, they're lifelong practices. The more you commit to these principles, the closer you'll get to living a life of peace, freedom, and purpose. It's not always easy, but the rewards are immeasurable. Drop 100 if you've made it this far, because that shows you're part of the rare 0.01% who actually finish what they start. If you're serious about transforming your life, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Together, we'll continue on this journey of personal growth and resilience. Stay tuned for more insights, and remember, the journey starts with you.